Hi, and welcome to Yoga for Equestrians. I'm Susan. Thanks for joining me today on this beautiful California afternoon. We're really lucky here that we're having very mild weather. It's about 70 degrees, I'd say. I just finished riding. I'm a little hot, so I'm going to be wearing my t-shirt today. Sorry to those of you who are in winter climates. Anyways, thanks for joining me today. I wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction about Yoga for Equestrians, how I got into yoga, what kind of riding I do, and how yoga is going to help you in your riding. I started riding when I was a kid, probably about 10 years old, and I kept it up all through high school, through a couple of different moves, and unfortunately had to give it up in college and for a few years after college while I couldn't afford it. But once I could afford to start taking lessons again, I jumped in wholeheartedly and I just loved it. Unfortunately, I made the bad decision of buying my first horse as an adult who was very inappropriate for me. And I'm sure many people have made this decision. Unfortunately, it hurts, sometimes physically, sometimes mentally, sometimes both. And this horse hurt me a lot. He bucked me off all the time. I became fearful of riding, which was really unfortunate because I love riding and horses so much. So I had a choice to make. I could choose to give in to my fear and give up riding, or I could choose to do something to overcome my fear and continue with the passion that I loved ever since I was a kid. So without knowing what yoga was, I started down a path of confidence-building exercises. At the time, I didn't know it was really anything to do with yoga, but the first thing I started with was breathing exercises. And so that's the first thing I want to start with for our first segment here, is breathing exercises. Just like horses communicate through their breath, they introduce themselves to each other with a breath through the nostrils. Their calm sigh communicates a feeling of contentment and security, relaxation, or if they do that high-pitched loud snort that I can't duplicate, it means fear, run, something scary. So horses communicate with their breath, and we communicate with our breath, and also through our bodies. The breath that we use and the breath that we take while we're in the saddle communicates to our horse how we're feeling. So if we're tense and we're breathing really shallowly just in our chest, our shoulders are going to be stiff. If our shoulders are stiff, our arms are stiff. If our arms are stiff, our hands are stiff. And we can't have the nice, soft, flowing, relaxing hand that we want, that's so highly prized and sought after as a rider. So to start with breathing exercises, we're going to work from the belly. So many of us breathe only in the chest because, let's face it, as women, we don't want to feel like we have big bellies, so we kind of suck our belly in and we breathe up here. And that's not what we want for yoga, and that's not what we want for riding. So we'll start with a belly breath. Come to a comfortable seated position. I'm sitting here on a folded blanket. If you're going to sit in an easy pose like this, where you're sitting on the ground with your legs folded in front of each other, make sure you have a bolster or a blanket or a towel folded underneath your seat. That will elevate your hips higher than your knees, and that will take a lot of pressure off your back. This will be a much more comfortable position where you can sit tall. You can do these exercises standing. You can do these exercises seated in a chair, and you could even do this exercise on your horse, and it might be an interesting exploration to see how your horse reacts to the different breaths that you take. So first, starting with the belly breath, come to a comfortable seated position and just place your hands on your belly. Your thumb could sort of rest around your belly button, your palm right on what we might call our pooch, right on your belly there. And as you inhale, take a deep breath and focus on bringing the air down into your belly. And you feel as you inhale, your hand will move away, and as you exhale, your belly will move back in and your hand will move back in. It's kind of hard to see on the camera here so far away, but as you inhale, belly expand, exhale, belly contract. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, belly expand, exhale, belly contract. Last one. Inhale, belly expand. Exhale, belly contract. So as you're working on your belly breath, feel as if you could push your belly out to your waistband of your pants to make it feel like your waistband is expanding. That might be a good visualization for you. And what we're going to move into here is a 3-part breath, complete breath, diaphragmatic breathing. So we're going to start with the belly like we just did, and then you can move your hand to your rib cage and we'll breathe into that as well. So inhale, belly, and then rib cage expands, and then rib cage contracts and belly contracts. Inhale, belly, rib cage. Exhale, rib cage contracts, belly contracts. 2 more. After that last exhale, we're going to move into full and complete 3-part breath. So what we'll do next is belly, abdomen, chest. Now you want to be careful here when you breathe into your chest at the end of the 3-part breath that you don't lift your shoulders, because that's going to create the tension that we want to avoid. You want to keep your shoulders down, and you're actually going to feel like you're opening your chest and breathing into the lungs, filling them completely with air. So starting with the belly, and then rib cage, chest, and then let it all out. Again, breathing into the belly to start, rib cage, chest. Let it all out. Nice slow exhale. We'll do 2 more. When you're doing this breathing, it's actually pretty difficult to learn in the beginning because we're so used to breathing in our chest. We breathe shallowly, or perhaps we even breathe backwards, where we inhale and suck in the belly and exhale and push the belly out. You want to remember, as you inhale, you're filling your lungs, you're expanding your body, and then as you exhale, you're letting it all out and releasing, contracting. So that's something to remember. Practice your 3-part breathing. Practice it while you're driving. Practice it while you're just sitting in a chair. Maybe practice it at work before you have a stressful meeting to go to. And practice it on your horse. It's really important to focus on breathing. You don't want to forget to breathe while you're riding. And you don't want to breathe into your chest while you're riding, because that's going to give you the tension. That's going to give you those bouncy hands that you don't want. So remember, 3-part breath. If you find yourself in a moment of fear on your horse, you can actually focus on just belly breathing, slowing your inhale and exhale, and it will relax you and it will help you relax your horse. As we go on in the series, we'll go on with more breath exercises. We'll move on to asana, which are yoga postures. We'll talk about meditation, concentration. We have a lot to talk about, so I hope that you'll continue joining me. Thank you so much, and namaste.